Welcome to the Cooking Odyssey. On today's episode, I will be making kokora crasato, Greece's answer to coq au vin, and also a Greek dessert called Curried Otto. But first, let's go back to Greece and discover the place that inspired today's recipes.
Greece is known worldwide as a summer beach destination, but did you know it also has some of the best skiing in Europe? Today we are in the ski mecca of Greece. Welcome to Arahova.
Arahova is a strikingly beautiful town built on the slopes of Mount Parnassus. While not much is known about the history of the town, or even when it originated, we do know that according to Greek mythology, Mount Parnassus was sacred to the god Apollo and was the home to the Muses. Many Greeks pride themselves in this because the scenery of Arahova is fit for supreme beings and inspiring goddesses, with its rolling hills, lush vegetation, and clear blue skies. Walking around Arahova with its quaint cobblestone streets and buildings, traditional food, and famous clock tower makes it easy to see why so many people come to visit. The people are very friendly, good-natured, and are always ready to say hello and lend a helping hand. The center of town is filled with small traditional shops, modern restaurants, and taverns, and always seem to be bustling with people. Arahova is well known for its traditional products like pasta, formaella cheese, and honey. But it has more to offer its visitors and locals than just old mythical stories and cobblestone streets. Right next door is Delphi, both an archaeological site and a modern town in Greece on the southwestern spur of Mount Parnassus. In Greek mythology, Delphi was the site of the Delphic oracle, the most important oracle in the classical Greek world, and a major site for the worship of the god Apollo. It was said that the ancients could ask the seer anything they wanted, and the oracle would reply with the truth and a look toward the future. After my short trip to Delphi, I decided to get back to Arahova and stopped at a restaurant called Agnanti, where a chef showed me how to make two recipes. The first, mushrooms with a local cheese called formaella, and the second, a Greek version of coq au vin, called kokoros crasatos. Both were delicious, and I made sure to take notes for Yanni so he could show us how to make it back in New York.
Welcome back. As I told you earlier, today we will make kokora crasato. This is Greece's answer to coq au vin, and we'll serve this with an egg noodle that in Greece we call chilopites. For today's recipe, our ingredients are a full rooster, which I've cut into pieces, green pepper, carrot, onion, tomato paste, allspice, bay leaves, a stick of cinnamon, some garlic, salt, a glass of wine, and our noodles, chilopites. So let's start. First things first, let's brown our chicken in this Dutch oven. I want to get some oil over medium-high heat. Coat the bottom of the pan. Carefully add your rooster. You want to brown it. Let's season our meat. Some salt and freshly ground pepper. First batch is done. Let me get a platter and remove these guys. Let me add the rest of the rooster. And more seasoning. And some pepper. Time to flip these guys over. And let's season the other side. 2 more minutes, and then we'll remove these, put them in there, and then soften our vegetables in the same oil. And our second batch is done. Let's remove them. Now I'm going to lower the heat just a little, and I'll add my vegetables in here. Carrots and my peppers. Give them a good stir. As we lower the heat, we don't want to brown the vegetables, but rather saute them. My vegetables have gotten nice and soft. Now it's time to add in the rooster. Let it sit on top of the vegetables. And now let's deglaze with our white wine. In the meantime, let me get some water to dilute the tomato paste. Smells incredible. Alcohol has cooked off. Let's add our tomato paste. Okay. It's okay if it hasn't fully diluted, our tomato juice. And our cinnamon. Some allspice. A few bay leaves. And a little more salt. Give it a good stir. And let it cook until it's fork tender. In the meantime, let's go back to Greece.
Leaving Arahova behind and setting our sights on Mount Parnassus, we see Livadi first, an area primarily populated with large vacation homes and lots of open space, perfect for that tranquil weekend trip away. As we drove this long stretch of road up the scenic mount, I started to think about Arahova, the Oracle of Delphi, and everything this small town has to offer, from vacation homes in a beautiful valley to skiing down mountains. But before I had a chance to really think more about the village, I had to concentrate on what was in front of me, Skamnos, a beautiful place with what seemed to be every amenity I could ever want. As someone who isn't an avid skier, Skamnos is perfect for me. Here, they have a large and beautiful indoor pool and spa that you can sit in while there's snow on the ground or even falling from the sky. But outside is where the fun really begins. There's horseback riding, hiking, and mountain biking. But the best part about Arahova is the people and their hospitality. Everyone is always willing to share recipes and stories with you.
Today, Kyria Foula is going to show us how to make stuffed zucchini with a cream sauce. Δηλαδή θα φτιάξουμε κολοκυθάκια γεμιστά με αυγολέμονο.
For this recipe, we are going to need zucchinis, ground beef, rice, tomatoes, parsley and mint, a mix of garlic and onions, 2 eggs, salt, pepper, lemon juice, and olive oil. Kyria Foula will show us how to slice the zucchini lengthwise so that it will be perfect for stuffing. She removes the inside and discards it. Then she says to mix all of your ingredients together. Be sure, though, to only use the egg whites in this part of the recipe. The yolks will be used for the cream sauce. Now, after giving everything a good mix, it's time to stuff the zucchinis with your beef mixture. After they have all been stuffed, put the empty zucchini half on top. Then coat a pot with olive oil, place your zucchini inside, and add a little water on top. Cook this for 45 to 50 minutes. Now that our zucchinis are cooking, it was time to start our sauce. Grab another pot and add some butter. Let it melt. Then add in as much flour as the butter can take. Make sure to mix constantly. Next, Giriafulya takes the broth from the zucchini pot and adds this into our butter flour mixture. Next, add some milk into the pot. In a separate bowl, beat together your 2 egg yolks and 3 lemons. As soon as these are mixed together, add them into your pot and stir well. The zucchini should be out of the pot by now and into a nice dish. Pour your sauce on top and you're done. After that great meal, it was time to head back to town to visit Osios Loukas, the owner of a local cheese store, who said he would teach me how to make formaella cheese. Formaella is made from fresh sheep or goat milk, which is brought to the factory on a daily basis by the local farmers. Kostas said that the milk must be of the highest quality and can only be from Arahova for it to be considered authentic formaella cheese. Formaella is made by bringing the milk to a boil and adding a natural magia, or curdling agent, to thicken it. Once the cheese has thickened, it is cut into pieces and it separates from the turagalo, or cheese milk. The cheese is then once again cut into smaller pieces and transferred to a vat with the cheese milk, where it is cooked for 2 to 3 hours or until set. The wicker tubes are removed from the cheese water and are allowed to cool slightly. Before they are completely cooled, the process of salt curing the cheese begins. The cheese is removed from the wicker cylinders, covered with sea salt, and returned to the cylinders to cool. This process is then repeated. As he was salting and curing the cheese, Kostas told me a fun tidbit of information. This cheese was also eaten in ancient times, but was called xirotiri, or dry cheese. The ancients used sea salt for their curing process and hung it up from trees or ceilings so that it could dry. After the second salting, the cheese is put into a refrigerator to cure for 24 hours. Production of formaella is very limited, and this cheese can only be found in Arahova.
Welcome back. While you are watching Eva in Arahova, I've been looking over my kokora, and in fact just have been adding some stock into this pot, have brought it to a boil, and I'll add my egg noodles, my hilopites right now. Let me add just a little more stock here. Okay. Give it a good mix. Let the hilopites cook for another 6-7 minutes until they're done, and then we'll plate everything and taste. Our hilopites are done. Let me get a plate and do our taste test. Piece of rooster here, and a bit of sauce. Beautiful. Moment of truth, fork tender. So good. A wonderful marriage of flavors. Hearty, total winner. In the meantime, let's go back to Greece, and when you folks get back, it's dessert time.
Osios Loukas is an important monastery situated near the town of Distomo, about 20 minutes outside of Arahova.
It is one of the most important Middle Byzantine architecture and art and is listed on UNESCO's World Heritage Sites.
The monastery of Osios Loukas is located on the slopes of Mount Helicon and was founded in the early 10th century by Saint Luke. Known for having predicted the conquest of Crete by Emperor Romanos, St. Luke relics are still kept in the monastery to this day, and it has been rumored that they can work miracles. This has brought a great number of believers to the monastery to be healed. In its present form, the monastery consists of a group of 2 churches, surrounded on each side by additional buildings. It is protected by an enclosure wall with towers at the corner. And while the church's history was interesting and the sight of the mountain and monks exhilarating, what really took my breath away were the decorations and adornments on the inside of the monastery. Everywhere I looked, I saw more and more beautiful works of art. I was quite overwhelmed and inspired. After my quick inspirational trip at Osios Loukas, it was time to head back to Arahova. And because it was our last few hours in town, I was told I could not leave without going to Pastry, a bakery known for its walnut desserts.
Arahova in the Slavic language means walnut. Here at Papastathi they carry on the traditional desserts of Arahova, and Tommy is going to show us today how we're going to make Curried Otto, which means walnut dessert. Right, Tommy?
Right, Eva.
So what are we going to use?
So we're going to use the walnut, cinnamon, clove, sugar, egg white, and semolina.
Okay, the sugar is already inside.
Yes, we have cut the walnuts, and we have mixed it with the sugar, the cinnamon, the clove.
So what's the next step?
The next step is to beat the egg whites.
Tommy, it looks ready, right?
Yes, it's all ready. You must stop it.
And I'll do this?
Yes,
I'll
yes.
just mix it?
Yes.
Ooh, it's so soft.
We finish the sweet with the semolina.
Okay. Just a little bit.
Yes.
I love doing this.
And now we must to wait about 30 minutes to rest. So Eva, we are ready to knead the mixture. Eva, they are ready to be baked now. After they have cooled, we put the powdered sugar.
And now
Please, you must taste.
we can try them. Amazing. It's really, really good.
But while cooking at home for family, friends, and guests is great, going out in Arahova is just as wonderful. With tavernas lining the streets offering everything from traditional Greek food to contemporary fare and even fusion-inspired cuisine, there is something for everyone. As the day came to a close, it was easy to see that Arahova can also be beautiful at night. And as I walked around, it was Taverna Karauli that caught my eye. Inside, people were eating, laughing, and having fun. It's a beautiful taverna and is rustic in nature, but with a touch of elegance that makes it perfect. Arm in arm with old and new friends, the crew sat and enjoyed the delicious food of the taverna and the welcomed company of friends.
Welcome back, folks. As I promised you earlier, I would make for you a lovely Greek pastry. It's called Curried Otto. So let's start. Our ingredients include some chopped walnuts, regular sugar, powdered sugar, some butter, 2 eggs, baking powder, semolina, a bit of vanilla extract, some cognac, and an orange. First thing is to mix our dry ingredients. We have our chopped nuts here. Let's add in our sugar. We have our semolina. Let's add a 1/8 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, some cognac, an orange. Give it a nice citrus flavor. We need 2 egg whites and 1 egg yolk into the mixture that I have right here to my right. Okay, add 1 egg yolk right there. Before I whisk my egg whites, let me just give a good mix. Let me get my whisk, and we'll whisk our egg whites to stiff peaks. Beautiful. I got nice stiff peaks. And let's just fold this into our mixture. And we're looking for a nice pliable textured dough. You may not need to add all of it, so just trying to incorporate the egg whites. Let me get my baking tray. I've melted some butter already. I just want to generously butter the whole pan. In order to work with the dough, since it's quite sticky, I'm going to add a little water to my hands. And it's important, since we have all that air from the egg whites in there, not to compress them. And the final one. I've got my oven preheated at 350 degrees. I'll just take these guys, pop them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Let me try one. A mouthful of heaven. We'll see you on the next episode. Join us on the next episode of the Cooking Odyssey, where we visit a city in northern Greece with a great history and a unique product called krokos.